I'm Sarah Samuels. I'm a teacher in London. I'm from America originally, from South Carolina. Kind of stuck around, and it's almost 10 years now. So the journey kind of started back originally in 2013. I didn't know that there was anything really wrong because I was super athletic my whole life and I never had regular cycles. And we kind of always put it down to me running like 8 miles a day. And then I came off the pill back in 2013 and I didn't have any cycles kind of for about 3 months. And I did lots of running, lots of exercising, and I was never really able to shift my weight. I had acne after I came off the pill. I was tired a lot of the time as well. And so it was only when I went to the GP and then got some tests run that I found out that I had polycystic ovaries. And I didn't even know what that was. And so it was kind of from there, testing and everything under the sun, I felt like, with no real answers other than you have polycystic ovaries. Yeah, if you want to have kids, then we'll give you metformin and Clomid, and then until then you just have to stay on the pill. And I kind of accepted that until we got married in 2015, and we're trying immediately, and it didn't happen. And then it got to be 2016, and it didn't happen. And finally in 2017, it was kind of my last chance before the NHS said, you know, we'll give you metformin, but if it doesn't work, you've already tried Clomid, then the next step is IVF. I really wanted to avoid that. I had looked up, and there's so many articles on the internet, which is amazing, but a lot of them are conflicting. Nothing really kind of added up to a whole picture of what I could do. And I kind of told all this to the GP, and they said, you know, well, that's what women with polycystic ovaries struggle with. You know, you might have weight problems, and kind of the answer is to stay on the pill, that will help you, and then we can just give you metformin. And I didn't know what metformin was. I looked into it and found out that it was the pill for diabetes. And I thought, well, I don't have diabetes, why are they giving me metformin? But even when I asked more about that with the GP, there was no answer about why it works or necessarily the link to kind of insulin resistance or anything. And I was made to feel kind of quite silly for asking. And I knew that we wanted to have a baby, but my mind kept going to what happens if, number one, we can't, and number two, after that. Like, what does polycystic ovaries mean for me in the long term? I had gone and done the glucose fasting test, and everything was within normal range for that. And so I thought that could be something that could be contributing. And then I felt like we reached another dead end again until I spoke to Claire, and then she kind of showed me all of the research to back the numbers that it was actually high and contributing to show that I had an insulin resistance. I had previously tried like Vitex, acupuncture. I don't remember the combination of all of the herbs, but basically anything that you can find out there on the internet for polycystic ovaries, I had in the cupboard, trying it, seeing if it would work, and kind of nothing I tried had any effect at all. The first month after the changes were really hard because it was cutting out all sugar and no snacking, which I've never done in my life. And so at first I was like, oh, I'm never gonna be able to do this. But then after, honestly, the second day of kind of having my meals, having lots of protein, I was able to go the whole day without feeling hungry. So I was finding that I had a lot more energy. I kind of felt like I was Superwoman. So I did lots and lots of cardio and really high intensity workouts. But kind of talking to Claire and looking at my cycles of when I was able to get natural cycles, it was only on my school holidays when I wasn't stressed and I was relaxing. So we really started to try and get my stress hormone under control. And one of the things that I found out was cortisol stays with you for days after it's been released in your body. And running obviously releases lots of cortisol. And so I stopped doing lots of running and I started doing more strength training exercises, using my kettlebells, kind of coupling that with meditating. After we implemented the changes that Claire suggested, that was in September. And by October, I had a cycle, actually. My clothes were already fitting loosely. I then had a cycle October, November, December, January. And it was the January cycle that I actually fell pregnant. So I'm now about 4.5 months pregnant. Because there's no answer of why women have polycystic ovaries and what the exact cause is, I felt this really intense guilt about it because I didn't know if it was me being on the pill for so long or if it was something else that I had done. And it's kind of one thing when it's just your own cycles, but when, you know, you're with someone and you're both trying for a family so badly and you kind of feel like everything is on you, it was really nice to kind of get that answer that there is something more to it. it's not just something that I'm doing wrong, you know? Once I started to get my cycles back, it really helped our relationship actually, because there was a stress of me waking up every day, taking my temperature, figuring out was I ovulating, was I not ovulating? So I feel like for both of us, it was a real weight off of our shoulders, kind of knowing that I am having cycles. And then I actually got to be able to time it to where it was almost a month, which I've never had in my life, which kind of just improved everything. You know, when you're starting a family, it's supposed to be a really exciting and lovely time, and when it doesn't happen and everything has to be timed and clockwork, it suddenly alleviated all of that pressure for us, and we just began to really enjoy kind of the experience. And if it happens, then, you know, it happens, sort of thing. So if you were in my position and trying to fall pregnant and trying everything under the sun, Googling everything, trying every exercise, every supplement, and nothing is working, my advice would be to just keep an open heart and an open mind. I think that's the biggest thing, is just understanding that lots of women go through this and you're not alone, and that there are reasons and there's answers. And talking to Claire, it was really nice because I was able to pinpoint exactly what I needed, which you can't find anywhere Googling. So just to keep with it and to try everything that Claire says, because it worked for me, so it could work for anyone.